Hey everybody, this is Steve Coded. Welcome again to one of my 15 minutes of Feng Shui. Uh, Please do me the favor and mute your audio if you would. And if you look down at the bottom, you can see that the next LinkedIn event is on July 12th at the usual time, 2 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. Again, thank you for attending, and I think you're going to get a lot out of this particular session. This is real important. Once again, I'm the co-owner of the Intrinsic School of Feng Shui, along with my partner, Lisa Albin. And we have had the great opportunity to be able to speak all over the state of Florida live, and of course, virtually all over the north of North America. So Feng Shui tips for today, we're going to be doing that first impression inside and how important it really is, tremendously. You need to understand that it's important not only for a person living there and not moving, but it's extremely important for when you're trying to sell a house. So it really can hurt you if you don't get this correct. So the definition of first impression. First impression is the event when one person first encounters another person and forms sort of a mental image of that person. This impression accuracy varies depending on the observer and the target. It's not only just a person, as you certainly know. It can be an object, it can be a scene, it can be a home, it could be somebody's business, okay? First impression, real important. And as you probably have heard many times, you don't get a second chance. So can you imagine if this was your tour guide? Right away, you're probably not thinking this is not going to be a lot of fun. Not only that, say you've been set up on a blind date. Okay, this is your first date, and this is what happens. Yep. Here's a young lady who is probably already had it, that this person is constantly on the phone. So her impression is not a particularly positive one. So that first impression and your environment is so pivotal, and it's one of the biggest things in Feng Shui. So when you actually walk in, and if you see a reflective surface like a mirror, problem, big problem. Because the energy of this is going to hit that mirror and bounce right back out from where it came from. I remember one time I went into a nice Chinese restaurant and they had a mirror that you walked in. And it really was something that I just couldn't believe that they decided to do something like that. So anything reflective when you first walk in is not a very positive thing, right straight ahead of you. Secondly, if you can see straight through to the back and into the outside.
And this is about your chi.
Yeah, no, you're not supposed to be able to see from the front door all the way through your house. So that's
Do me a favor and mute your audio, please.
I didn't know that.
Please. So if you see straight through to the back into the outside, we get little benefit, if any. Okay. The chi, or the energy, is going to shoot right out the back and doesn't stay very long and help us throughout our environment. So if you do that right away, you're going to find out that you're going to hurt yourself. You're going to hurt your environment quite a bit. It's not going to have a good feel. So what we do, and I'm going to show you some examples here, is if we create focal points that pop to the left or to the right, we're going to get the attention of our visitor or of the chi to go in that direction. So if your focal point is to the right, is stronger, that's where the attention is going to be. So you need to get good at using focal points to try to take the attention away from the wrong thing. And again, the number one wrong thing here when somebody walks in the front door is to see straight through to the back, to the outside. Now I'm located in Florida, So, we certainly have a real problem there in some cases because of people looking straight to the back might see the pool or the ocean or whatever. And that's great, but that person's attention now has wavered. And therefore the energy also is going to go right to the back too. So some bad first impressions when entering a house are like this. If you've read any feng shui book at all, you probably know that having a stairwell right in front of the front door is not a good thing. Luckily, a lot of builders nowadays have gotten this down pat, and they don't do this anymore. So the staircase is going to be in the back or to the side or off center. We don't want it to be that way because what happens in this case is that the energy coming down the stairway and the front door are going to battle right there in that foyer area, and we're never going to get much of a benefit out of this thing. So that's one thing you want to stay away from if at all possible. So once again, the mirror that points right at the front door is not going to be to your advantage ever. You don't want to put a mirror there. Definitely a mirror in the foyer area can be very, very, very positive, but it's going to be put off to the side. So you can see in this case, they've got a double problem going. So again, the mirror's facing the front door, the staircase is facing the front door. Neither thing is good for the situation. We're not getting that feeling that we want. And we want to be able to maneuver the energy, the chi, throughout the house in a way that it feels its best, its most comfortable. So entering that front door, the energy being drawn straight out the back. Here's two prime examples. And you're going to say, well, gee, I mean, I think that's a beautiful picture. And it is. But you need to understand that this is not advantageous to you, especially if you're selling. The energy is going to go right to the back where it sees that beautiful landscaping, those beautiful trees out there. And what happens? Let's say you do have somebody in your car and you're a real estate agent. They sort of miss what's up front. It doesn't register very well. So what you want to do, and I'll show you some ideas in a moment about how to get the pause. Doesn't have to be for 5 minutes. It's not even going to be for 1 minute, but we need to get a pause to try to reset the situation. And if you think this picture is really good, look at this one. So you go through the front door. Where do you think people are going to head? Do you think they're going to go to the left or the right away? No, I don't think so. They're going to want to go out back. Why not? It's gorgeous. There's a beautiful pool out there. There's this fantastic scene with the mountain. My goodness. That is not going to help you, especially in real estate. But even if you're just living there, we need to get the pause at the front door to create a better reset. So good first impressions when you're entering a house are using things like a beautiful, colorful painting, okay? So the front door, I know you can't see, but you're sort of standing where the front door is right now. And so the painting draws people in because it's beautiful. It draws the energy in, it draws our attention in, but it's not shooting right to the back. Here's an example of when you walk in the front door, you have a wall, okay? And you can go to the left, you can go to the right, okay? But if that was a mirror instead of a painting, we'd have a problem. The painting helps us to draw the energy in, welcomes the energy, welcomes the visitor. And again, another example of that. So again, what is in the foyer area can be very, very helpful or very, very hurtful. Now let's talk about the room of first impression here also. So you can see the front door, of course, and the room of first impression is going to be to our right. But what I want you to understand, even though there's a lot of problems in that room, to tell you the truth, a lot of clutter. One of the major problems that I see is that little out of proportion painting that is over top of the fireplace. That is not going to draw anybody's attention at all. Nobody's at all. So instead of doing that, let's bring in something that's a little bit more proportional. It makes us feel, okay, that belongs there. And also is colorful. So, it doesn't have to be any particular type of scene. These are just examples that you might want to use. And I like using things like very modern art sometimes because of some of the other advantages it gives me. So that first room of first impression, we have to draw the energy in there to make it feel its best and get it circulating in the right pattern. So energy can escape so quickly in a home or in an office, in any business, if you're not taking care of the situation. You want to make it comfortable. So again, we have that going on here too. There's the front door. Staircase is not a problem, but we want to make sure that we get a pause at that front door. And right now, that's not happening in this situation. Now, these people have something sort of lucky to go for them, but if those doors were not there, you can see that the energy could shoot right out the back. And again, that's not to our advantage. Same here. So I hope that makes sense to you. So that first impression needs to hold our interest for a moment. Let's call it a tiny pause. And I'm talking seconds here. But I want to reset the situation and I don't want them to run to the back. So you use color, okay? You can use a colorful painting or a floral arrangement or something like that. Or, believe it or not, an area rug. And I'm going to show you examples of these right now. So can you understand that if this was the color in front of you, or at least somewhere close to you, it would reset the situation a little bit. Again, a painting. This is a beautiful painting to me. It definitely catches my attention. I'm sure it catches yours too. But the area rug is quite often what I have to end up doing, depending on the situation. So here's an area rug that is at the front door. What happens? They walk in and they right away will notice it. Now, this is not a terribly magnetic area rug, but it'll do in a pinch. Here's one that'll really catch their attention. And believe it or not, I try to do as many circular rugs as I can. Now, we certainly don't have the time now for me to tell you why a circular rug is better. And I can't tell you this is a real pretty one, but a circular rug can actually give you even more of an advantage. But whatever you do, don't do this. You need to get the attention, you need to get the pause. So that poor first impression, it's really a problem for us. But in some cases, it can be hurtful to your thinking, your positivity, believe it or not, even your waistline. For example, there are some houses, and this might surprise you, that when you walk in the front door, the first thing you see is the bathroom, a bathroom. That's not considered positive. But right away, it becomes a habit for that person who's come home to go use the bath. We don't want that to be the first impression. Now, if that is the case in your home right now, keep that door shut. You don't want anybody seeing that. And here's another wild situation. There's the front door. The first thing they see is the kitchen. So what do? Well, they automatically go into the kitchen and put something in their mouth and gain another pound, which of course I don't want to do either. So try to stay away from those type of setups when we're trying to help somebody purchase a home, for example. So hope that made sense to you. The next time on 15 minutes of Feng Shui with myself, we're going to be doing something that you're probably going to be interested in. It's on wealth. And if you've done any kind of reading in Feng Shui, you know there is a particular wealth corner or wealth quadrant in every environment. So we'll talk about that, but there are so many other different types of wealth, as you're going to find out. So this one's going to be on July 12th, Eastern Standard Time at 2 p.m. So I hope you'll do that. You're going to have to register. I can invite so many people a week, but LinkedIn then cuts me off. So I can only invite you every once in a while. It's going to be on a rotating basis. So please register for the thing every month. Now, our training is got 2 6-week programs to it. And the first one we call the kickoff actually gives you, rewards somebody a designation, a certification right away. So we're very, very pleased that our first 6 weeks, our first part one, actually gives the opportunity to somebody right away to be able to make a living of sorts, working with stagers, working with realtors, working with homeowners. Okay. So if you're interested in getting some information about that first 6-week class, let me know. And at the same time, I'll show you what happens for the second 6 weeks too. As I'm fond of saying, our students don't start their careers walking, they start running. So thank you very much for joining me. I hope you will keep registering each month. Again, we have some people that are forgetting that. So if you have any questions for me, love to answer them for you. If not, that's the 15 minutes of this month. Anybody have any questions for me? Now, as usual, it seems like people are somewhat bashful, and I do have people that send me questions by email. If you'd like to do that, please do so. I'll open it up again just for a moment. Anybody have a question about we just went over? All right, well, thank you so much for joining me. And of course, the recording will be in your mailbox quickly. And you have a great day. Take care.